pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to call this Lamar City Council regular meeting to order for Tuesday, September 20, 2022. Roll call.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Donlin?
Here.
Wick?
Yes.
Sturgeon?
Yes.
Bruns?
Yeah. Motion to approve the agenda? So moved. Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any citizens here to bring up anything to us? Seeing none, we'll move on to the thumbs up award. Mike, do you have anything?
I'll pass today.
Brian?
I'll pass as well.
Clark?
Thumbs up to the sponsors that did the downtown event on Saturday night. It was very well attended. It was a very good event, and it's nice when, and I'm not gonna name any of them because I don't wanna leave any out, but a lot of private parties and businesses stepped up and provided a really nice evening down there. So thank you to them and to the KCs who ran the refreshments area, and it looked to me like they had a well-oiled machine, and there weren't a lot of lines, but there were a lot of people, and so I think it all went real well.
I'll second that, and I'll add that the planning committee, and I did some homework to find out who exactly it was. So Mitch Christoffel, Megan Sneller, and Justin Frecking were the leads behind this event, and I thought it was awesome. Hope to see some more in the future, and I think we are going to. We're going to be blessed by some more of these types of events in the future. So the Olson Concert Bash was a success. Also thanks to the KCs for serving the alcohol and providing the security and that. So it takes a lot of volunteers to pull those things off, and those are in short supply here lately. Also want to put a nod out to the Northwest Iowa National Invitational Golf Tournament that's going on right now, and a lot of young men and women from across the country and the world out at playing our golf course right now. That takes a lot of volunteers and a lot of sponsors as well, and we want to thank them for that. So, Steve.
I will echo Rob's comments on the tournament. I was happy to help the last 2 days on the driving range. It was, like he said, a multicultural experience with the kids coming out and seeing them swing a golf club. Like, I wish I could swing a golf club anymore, but I can't do that. So, and then one other thing, we had dinner with some friends this weekend who came from out of town just to visit and do a little Westmar reunion thing, and they could not stop talking about how impressive our downtown looks. The Main Street and how they kept it up and what they're doing. So thumbs up to the Main Street people, all of our people who maintain the buildings and continue to work towards it. So it was a positive experience for them.
Great. Mark?
Yeah, I would join in the comments on the Olson Bash, but also earlier in the day, the skateboard competition, and then also the skateboard art. People, if you had a chance to stop at Wiseye, some of that artwork is really neat on the skateboard things.
Yeah, very good. Forgot to mention that event. That too. I mean, we had a lot happening this weekend, and took a lot of volunteers, a lot of effort, and very cool to see all those things going on. So, moving on, consent items. We've got an approval of September 6, 2022 regular minutes, a list of bills for period ending 9/16/22, monthly financial statement for August 2022, new renewal of liquor license for Love's, La Fiesta, Chara, and a temporary premise transfer of liquor license to KC's for a cornhole tournament, and the urban revitalization tax exemptions.
Is that cornhole tournament going to be held right on their premises right there?
Olson Center.
Olson Center.
Yep.
Yeah.
Motion to approve consent items,
Second.
1 through 5.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the action items. Number 1, the Floodplain Management Ordinance. On September 6, 2022, Council approved the first reading on amending Chapter 160 Floodplain Management of the Lamar's Code of Ordinances. FEMA and the IDNR have completed the process of updating our flood hazard determinations for Plymouth County, which includes the city of Lamar's corporate limits. The flood insurance study and flood insurance rate map become effective on October 27, 2022. The city of Lamar's is required to update our ordinance to reflect adoption of the flood insurance study report and the firm by the effective date. Attached is a copy of the updated Lamar's Code of Ordinances, Chapter 160, Floodplain Management.
Motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 974 to amend the Lamar's Code of Ordinances, Chapter 160, Floodplain Management.
Support.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Goodchild,
Yes.
Wick,
Yes.
Bruns,
Yes.
Sturgeon,
Yes.
Donovan,
Motion to waive the third reading of ordinance number 974, amending the Lamar's Code of Ordinances, Chapter 160, Floodplain Management.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Goodchild,
Yes.
Wick,
Yes.
Bruns,
Yes.
Sturgeon,
Yes.
Donovan,
Yes.
Motion to adopt ordinance number 974 to amend the Lamar's Code of Ordinances, Chapter 160, Floodplain Management on its second reading.
Second again.
We got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Goodchild,
Yes.
Wick,
Yes.
Bruns,
Yes.
Sturgeon,
Yes.
Donovan,
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to the sewer revenue bond, Series 2022, wastewater improvements, 2022 ultraviolet disinfection. Council previously held a hearing and adopted resolution number 22-37 approving the preliminary official statement for the financing of the wastewater improvements 2022 ultraviolet disinfection project. As the next step in the process, council now needs to approve the bond purchase agreement. By approving the bond purchase agreement, council will lock in interest rates and move one step closer to the final issuance of the bonds. Final council action with respect to these bonds is scheduled to take place at the city council meeting on October 4, 2022. I believe we have a gentleman on the phone to answer any questions. We've also been provided some additional information on these bonds.
Right, I'll just speak to what I gave to in front of you. One is just kind of a summary that Mike Maloney put together, and then the final numbers, and then the third document's the final bond purchase agreement. In your packet, it's just the draft, because we have to wait till today to get the final numbers. So, Michael, do you have anything you want to say on it?
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. Thank you, Jacob.
Yep.
Just three high-level items for the council. The final par amount was just under $5.5 million. As you know, the city shares a small issuer capacity with the hospital. The hospital finished up some financing earlier in the year, and we need to keep the combined financings under $10 million. So just passing that along in terms of the reason why. The true interest cost of 4.42%, that's kind of equivalent to kind of your APR for a commercial or personal loan. Municipal bonds are issued with serialized interest rates for each maturity year, so that's the best blended cost on that. Just for context, let's say a state level AAA rated issuer issuing hundreds of millions of bonds today would be borrowing just under 4%. So all things being equal there, especially with the city's sewer utility managing the strength of the dairy waste, that's a pretty good performance in today's market and was buffered by the strong A rating assigned to the bonds. We also purchased credit enhancement, AA bond insurance from BAM, and earned the Green Star designation. Really any water sewer project like this, UV disinfection, does qualify for that. While we don't get a pricing benefit, it did open some eyes to potential investors for this ultimate 20-year financing. The bonds are a fixed rate and callable only at the city's discretion, starting 8 years out. So overall, kind of what you see is what you get here. It's an important project. Was glad to bring it to the finish line. Want to give a special shout out to Jacob here, kind of his first run through the bond process here. But there was a lot of work behind the scenes to do in terms of securing the rating and the bond insurance, plus working with me and the attorneys. So really appreciate his timeliness and responsiveness, as I know he's got some other things going on at the moment. But sure appreciate it. Happy to answer any other questions the council might have today.
You said you wanted to keep the total amount under 10 million?
Yeah, yeah.
Did I hear that right? Okay, does that
Yeah,
include future bonding?
That's for this.
No, it's a calendar year. It's a calendar year requirement. There's some additional small issuer benefit called bank qualification, and that allows bank purchasers of your bonds to deduct some additional carrying costs, which allows them to lower the rates on your bonds. So it's something we try to manage, especially for bonds like this. The hospital issued just under 4.2 million early in the year, and we always like to keep a little bit of room to keep the attorneys happy, so right around that 9.9 all-in level.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that.
You bet.
You're confident with the current sewer rates and current usage that we'll be able to pay this back?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one should be good.
Repeat your answer.
This issue, yes, we should have enough current rates to repay this issue.
Okay. Because we will be reviewing.
Correct, the future issues coming up, we'll be reviewing rates.
Okay,
If
good
there
enough.
are any changes to rates.
Right, I just wanted to, understand that, so.
I'll make a motion adopting resolution 22-39, approving a bond purchase agreement for the sale of sewer revenue bonds, series 2022.
Second. Motion and a second. Roll call.
Sturgeon,
Yes.
Bruns,
Yes.
Goodchild,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Wick.
Yes. Motion carried. Moving on.
Thank you, folks.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank
Appreciate
you very
it.
much.
Jacob, let's use 1212 as the timestamp on that. You guys have a good rest of the day.
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Moving on to action item number 3, American Rescue Plan Act Fund. The city of Lamar has received a total of $1,507,340.80 through the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, of 2021. The funds were allocated to states, counties, and cities to stimulate community growth following the global pandemic. Funds were initially to be focused on support public health response, address negative economic impacts, replace public sector revenue loss, premium pay for essential workers, water and sewer infrastructure, broadband infrastructure. Final guidance from the federal government has loosened the focus of these bonds for recipients receiving less than $10 million. The funds now can be used for any government service with certain limited exceptions. Council asked administration and department heads to compile a list of proposed uses of the funds. Proposed uses were presented to committees, resulting in the attached list. Recipients of the funds have until December 31, 2024 to determine usage of funds and until December 31, 2026 to expend the funds. Administration recommends council approve the attached list of projects and their estimated ARPA allocations.
All right, so this can be more of discussion if you'd like, rather than the suggested motion. Well, the second page, what you have is basically me putting them in an order. So we can juggle around, remove, add, whatever you'd like.
I'll open up with, I would like us to take a lot more time with this. We've got 2.5 years before it needs to be spoken for. I think we've got some projects that are not even on the list that should be on the list. And I think we have projects that are on the list that I'm not too solely in favor of. So my suggestion is, we're 2 years and 4 months out from needing to, is that correct, Jacob? 2 years and 4 months out from, let me just throw one at you. We've got an outdoor swimming pool. We have no clue what's gonna go on there, but we need to find out. So I don't wanna commit to a bunch of money right now, especially when I don't need to. So my feeling is, there's things on this list that I'm kinda disappointed aren't even on the radar. I'm not I'm not picking on the library, but when they want a storage area, that's not the space needs they've complained about. You know, to me, this is a perfect opportunity for them to look into some of their space needs, issues. That's just an example. Public Works, water, sewer have all talked about new buildings. And I've heard about it for 4 years, you know. Some of them didn't make the cut, and there's probably good reasons, but I just think we need to take more time. I'm done.
The outdoor pool, just an update, not significant issues, unless we want to redo the pool. I mean, it's no issue that we haven't addressed in the past, it's just the concrete moves. Okay.
I thought this one was a little different. Okay, then maybe I understood it differently.
I met out there yesterday.
Okay, so you've gotten an update
Yeah.
since. Okay, but that's an example. We don't know necessarily what next year brings. When we're a year out from this needing to be declared, I support tightening it up at that point rather than committing it at this point.
Yeah, the only thing I would say towards Zach Clark and council is, some of these projects need to get going. I mean, so we're gonna have to, if it's not ARPA funds, it's gonna be some other funds. Because before we start, I can't start spending money on some of these projects and then a year from now decide, oh, we've got this ARPA money. Because I think we should have it committed, I believe. If we're gonna use ARPA funds on any of these projects, we should know that going into that project.
Jacob, is there any restriction on piecemealing out the commitment of funds?
That was gonna be my question, because if there's some, such as a land purchase or something, that's a timely issue, if we could, other than knowing the entire
So
budget,
you can
we
commit-
can parcel out part of that.
You could commit a portion of the funds now, a portion later. Okay.
Is it safe to say that the things you have in mind that need to get going now are in the top 9?
Yes, number 1, number 2, we just had it.
Yeah.
No, I figured Fluger was, or the storm sewer might be.
Yeah. Those for sure.
And water main replacement?
Yeah, we just had a meeting with the engineers this morning on that.
Okay, those two.
Fulton Drive storm sewer, I mean, that's a want, and the reason for that, I think, is I gave explanations for most of these in the following pages,
Yeah.
so.
Are you, if I can interrupt for just a second, are you saying that we can't start a project and then come back and use these funds? Once it's started, it's committed to be used out of our fund balances?
Well, you wanna have a source of funds before we vote
Best
for something.
practice.
Absolutely, that's kind of my whole, that's kind of my whole point.
Sure.
Well, some of these, I mean, like the storm sewer and the water main replacements, the 1 and 2,
Yep,
we've already been spending money on those, but they've been engineering. But the bulk of the money's gonna be needed for the construction of the stuff.
sure, but let's take your number 1.
So I mean, so the engineering costs that we've incurred already, they would not be submitted
As
to
part of-
get
right.
part of the money.
Okay. Storm sewer is an example, we have enough, I mean, it would be down to the penny, but we have enough to cover the cost of the project.
The way I'm looking at this, Jason, is you ask the staff to give a bunch of ideas. You got 24 ideas, and you don't have 24 ideas worth of money. So you're suggesting we focus our attention on the first 9 here, and this gives the city staff the guidance from us to keep working on those 9, because we might actually do those. But each one of those is gonna have to come to us on its own merits. This isn't approving the execution of all these projects, right?
Well, we can,
Say yes.
okay, so our,
Just answer his question first.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, so the example, the local example we have is what the county supervisors did. They had a list and they approved a list of projects. We don't necessarily have to go that route. I mean, as these projects come forward, I guess, for your approval to continue on, I mean, the approval of plans and those things, we can designate, I guess, ARPA money. You know, we might, under financing, if we say, okay, we're gonna use TIF, or we're gonna use a road use tax, we can, the recommendation could be to use ARPA funds. And then we just approve them, one project at a time. We can do them that way.
That's how I'd like.
That's, I think, how it's ultimately gonna happen. This is just saying, okay, well, you got work to do, and you're gonna start your work on 1 through 9. And there might be others, or you might learn that number X.
But I would just like to have a roadmap so that we're not just, we know that we've got the 1.5 million, okay?
Right.
And then we just start, we'll have to keep a running total. That we don't start just doing a bunch of little small things and then something big comes up and then, wow, we don't have enough money
Right.
for that.
Right.
That's why I like this roadmap,
Yes.
to be there in place when they do start.
But if you want the roadmap to change, I would like to know that.
Right.
Another one that we're gonna probably spend money on sooner than later is also number 9,
Sure.
because we're already starting that
Right,
process.
and I figured that's definitely on our radar. My concern is that if I go ahead with this, then 3 months from now, 5 months from now, 10 months from now, I'm gonna hear, well, you guys approved. You guys approved this, so don't stop me now. I'd rather,
That's why I wanted to clarify, because this is talking about allocation of ARPA funds. There might need to be other funds, and we'll deal with that when the proposals come to us.
but once you allocate them, can they be pulled off?
Of course.
They can be pulled off the ARPA list? Since you declared it to the
There's
federal
no
government?
requirement for there to be an ARPA.
Yeah, so that might get a little bit into a gray area if we do declare it and then pull it off.
Okay, then
I will say there is some leeway in that our next reporting isn't until April. And so if you designated one now,